Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got a couple of really interesting bodybuilding updates. The first thing we got is very interesting, and that's Nick Walker getting a new coach. And I got plenty of things to say on this. So apparently Nick posted, actually this coach posted a story in which he says he's coaching Nick Walker. Basically they're 8 weeks out. Somebody sent me this story and they told me that they follow this guy, they saw this in the story, and I was like, wow, I got this story before anyone else. But a couple of minutes later, Beyond the Stage TV shared the story as well. They're fast, what can I say? This one is very interesting, guys, because up until recently, up until the Arnold Classic, Nick Walker worked with Guy Cisternino. But first of all, let's go one thing by one thing. The first thing, the most interesting thing here is, who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is Nick Walker's coach? It's a no-name guy, really. Maybe some of you know him personally. I never heard of him. I checked out his profile. He has a lot of athletes, good athletes. He's picking his guys really well. I can't say anything. This guy can be the best coach in the world right now, for all I know, but I don't know about him. He's definitely not a top level coach. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad decision, Nick hiring him instead of somebody like Chris Aceto. It would be silly for me to say that because I am a coach as well, and another top open pro, not really that high level of a pro, but still a top open pro hired me, and I am not on that level. Before this, I was coaching mostly amateurs, a lot of IFBB elite pros, and some guys who are going to be turning pro this year in the NPC or the IFBB Pro League, but mostly amateurs, not exactly top level pros, and he hired me. It was a good decision because I gave him a lot of attention. And Nick is thinking the same way. This is Nick. This is what he talked about before. We all know this. Kyle Wilkes also talked about this. Nick Walker is not going to hire a coach who is coaching other pros, other top open pros. Maybe you guys remember back in the day when he was working with Matt Jensen, he actually told Matt to quit working with all the other pros, open pros. Matt didn't want to do that, and these guys parted ways. Then they got back together, but for a short period of time. So Nick is just not going to accept that. He wants all of the attention. He wants to be the top dog, the top name the coach is coaching. And there is a comment from some guy talking about how Nick already made that mistake, hiring Kyle Wilkes. Again, somebody who is very good coach for sure, but not a top level coach, not somebody who is coaching the top pros. And yeah, Nick Walker is a top pro. He's on the verge of winning the freaking Mr. Olympia. Maybe he does need the best of the coaches out there. But no, again, he's not gonna do it. Maybe it makes sense, but he just doesn't like that. And he's trying to find these lower level but very good coaches, and so he went with this guy. His name is, I had no way I can read this properly, so it's Prab Dalival. I have no idea where he's from. Is he Arab or Indian? I don't know, but very strange name, so I don't know where Nick Walker found this guy. But again, he's good. His athletes do look good, so I wish them all the best. I wish them luck, and I think they're going to probably do really well. However, what I find very interesting here is that Nick Walker peaked perfectly, guys. He was perfect at the Arnold Classic. That could not have been a better peak, a better look. That was an amazing package from Nick Walker, coached by Guy Cisternino. So what happened here? Are these guys still friends? Was Nick like, I don't like this thing of friend helping me, I need a coach who's going to be very hands-on? But from what we heard from Guy Cisternino, he was very extremely hands-on with Nick for the last 10 weeks. Maybe Guy isn't going to do it again. Maybe Guy is not up to coaching these pro bodybuilders, especially Nick. I don't know. But personally, what I think happened here is that, oops, I did it again. I'm not sure, guys, but like, you know how big of an influence I had with Mr. Olympia properly measuring the heights of the classic physique athletes? You remember what happened to Martin Fitzwater when he started bullying other people, and there are many examples like that, and you know, I'm not really aware of the influence I may have. And I'm not sure if this was it, but it very well could be, because what happened after Nick Walker was coached by Guy Cisternino, it happened that Nick was saying very often and very loud that he was not coached by anyone, that he prepped by himself, that he kind of had Guy Cisternino checking him out, being his second set of the eyes. Right. Then what happened is Guy Cisternino went on Fuad's podcast and publicly told everything to the world, and basically made it very, very extremely clear that he was coaching very, very devotedly Nick Walker. However, he did say a couple of times here and there that he was just his second set of the eyes, that he was his friend helping him out. But we all knew what was really going on, and I made it clear very here on this channel that Guy Cisternino was coaching Nick, because that's what he said. I just used the word coaching. Guy didn't use the word coaching, and he thought that was going to be enough. I'm going to tell the world the whole story, even though we agreed that we're going to say that I was just a friend helping him out, but I'm not going to use the word coaching. I'll use the word friend. And of course, maybe Nick wouldn't see through Guy's bullshit. Maybe he wouldn't, but I opened his eyes. I don't know if Nick is watching my channel. He probably is. From what I'm hearing, he's watching all the media. So if he watched my channel, he realized what Guy did. And that's why I think Nick ditched him. Is this a good thing for Nick? No, absolutely not. But staying in a toxic relationship like that with somebody who doesn't respect you enough to honor your wish, Guy saw what Nick was saying to the world, and still he went to the biggest bodybuilding podcast on the world, by far the biggest one, the biggest media outlet out there, and told the whole story to the world. He was worried more about his personal gain and his accolades than about his friend, right? And Nick realized. He realized that, and he was probably like, well, he is like that, and he basically betrayed me, but he's a good coach, or like me working with him is a good idea. I look very good, so maybe I should do it, but I'm pretty sure he couldn't bring himself to go to another prep with a guy who did him like that. So he had to go out there and find an actual coach. Now, this is all just speculation. This is just me guessing what happened, but it makes a lot of sense. And I don't know how good will this guy be, but we do know that Nick working with Guy Cisternino ends up looking phenomenal. Nick was 100%, guys. He was 100% with Guy Cisternino at the Arnold Classic. That peak could not have been any better. That conditioning was spot on. His size was amazing. His fullness, his freshness, his heart, everything was spot on. And if Nick did it the same way for this show and for the Mr. Olympia, I'm pretty sure the result would be exactly the same. But he couldn't do that, so he went with this guy. And again, I hope this goes really well. I don't know if Nick will trust this guy, how this will play out, but maybe it's gonna be a winning package. And maybe you would be thinking that Nick doesn't need a coach to tell him exactly what to do. Maybe he needs just another set of the eyes, the way he did it with Guy Cisternino. But the thing is, he didn't do it that way with Guy. It was coaching, extremely devoted, very, very hands-on coaching. So this is going to be another case of that. It's all about whether this guy can do this. Can he actually pick a massive, huge bodybuilder that he never worked with before? You know, Guy knew Nick's body because they were friends for many years before that. I'm sure Guy knew every detail of Nick's prep before this. That's how it works. If you have any bodybuilding friends, you know what they're doing. They're talking. Everybody's talking. So that's why Guy was so good at this. He knew Nick's body better than anyone. Probably even better than Matt Jansen, because Nick's body changed after Matt. So I don't know how will this play out. We'll see, guys. Again, a new coach, an unknown coach who doesn't know Nick's body. Nick is no longer with Guy Cisternino, and we'll see. Nick is already in pretty good shape, so it shouldn't be that difficult, but yeah, I am not as confident about Nick as I would be if he was still being coached by Guy Cisternino or having him as a friend, just looking at him. Whatever you guys think about the situation, tell me down below in the comment section. All right, next up, I want to give props to IFBB Pro League for not doing any robberies in a while, guys. In a while. It's been a long time since I called out a robbery. Do you remember when was the last time? Because personally, I have no idea when that happened last. And this weekend, we finally had one robbery, and that was at the France Pro. These things usually happen at these lower level European shows that aren't really that closely watched. And this time around, Sas Heirati was robbed. Here, he was pretty obviously supposed to win this show against William Bonek, and he didn't do that because Sas already has way too many pro wins, and it seems like he is not planning on stopping anytime soon. And of course, they just won't let him win all the pro shows and have like 8 guys on the Mr. Olympia stage. So they're telling him, that they're sending him a clear message, he needs to stop or just be happy with a second place. He can be second as many times as he wants, but to win every single show, that's just not going to happen. And at this show, he was beaten, or he was robbed by... He wasn't robbed by William Bonek, but he deserved to win this show, and Bonek placed higher because they want to see Bonek on the Mr. Olympia stage and not Sas. Let's check out the call-out, guys, one more time, and let's see, are there really poses that Bonek won against Sas? This wasn't a very good version of Bonek. This was a melted Bonek that is supposed to retire finally. He already retired like 5 years ago, I think, 3 years ago, something like that. And he came back from retirement, and he's getting worse and worse. Like last year, he looked really fresh, surprisingly, but this year he went one step below, and this year there is no chance of him cracking the top 10 at the Mr. Olympia, and he was second at one point, guys. So I don't know if it makes sense for him to be top 15, sure. Compete, man. Yeah, he can still win pro shows, obviously, this way or the other. He was still close enough to be in the top 2. If Mark Hector was in the top 2 here, Sas would still win a show, but they need somebody who is close enough, so it's not exactly super clear case of a robbery. But let's take a look at his call out once again. Front double bicep, no competition here, man. No competition. Sas is killing Bonek in this one with his overall size, details in the quads, just the overall shape and the X frame, just conditioning. It's not even close. Look at Bonek when he relaxes, when he's in the front relax. Like it's a shadow of William Bonek. Again, still good enough to be in the top 2, to fight for the first, but yeah, this is not what a show winner should look like. Again, a shadow of William Bonek. Front, lat spread nowhere near. Sas, look at the details in the quads. Look at the narrowness in the shoulders, if that's a word, I'm not sure. From the side, Bonek is good, but look at Sas's side glutes and then the leg sweep and the glute hamstring tie-in, and then the fullness and the size in the upper body. You know, Bonek doesn't have the fullness and the size that he once had. The only pose that I maybe can give to Bonek was the back double bicep because of Sas's back. A lot of people beat Sas in the back double bicep, a lot of people. And he was shredded in the glutes, but the back itself, it just a little bit atrophied. So this is the pose that Sas loses to many people. You know, his back is still pretty good. And Bonek's back is also quite melted. Like the lats are pretty much gone at this point, but it's still probably better, a little bit better than Sas's back. In the back lat spread, it's not that clear of a case. You can say that Sas could be winning this one as well, but even if you give Bonek those 2 back poses, it's still not enough. From the side and from the front, Sas was way better, bigger, harder, more conditioned, more complete. Just simply a better bodybuilder. It was a pretty clear case. I was pretty damn sure that Sas was going to win this show. I really didn't think for a second that Bonek can beat him. I did think that he looked pretty good, that he still fought a good fight, but, you know, as far as the poses, maybe he won the back double and that's it. Not a single pose other than that one. And for me, this was a clear case of a robbery. Yeah, Bonek won. He's going to the Mr. Olympia. He's going to be like 15th place. And Sas, again, it would be too much, man. To win like 5 shows in a year, just collect checks. They don't want that. They just don't want that. They don't need that. And this is a business after all. So this is how this played out, guys. I'm pretty confident this is exactly what was the case. If you maybe saw William Bonek winning this somehow, explain it to me which poses exactly, other than the back double. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty clear victory for Sashiarati. Whatever you guys think, tell me down below. And the next thing we got today, guys, is something very, very interesting from Samson Dauda. A posing session in a gym somewhere. And it's interesting because at around 16 weeks out of Mr. Olympia, we're trying to figure out whether Samson Dauda is going to be in condition, man. Ideally, in the best shape of his life, but all we want to see is him in condition. When I say in condition, I'm not talking about him being 100%. He doesn't need to be 100%. With this build, with his size, with his shape, with everything, he needs to be 90%, and that's it. That's it, really. Still, I really do believe that. I don't think Derek Lansford can beat Samson Dauda as long as Samson Dauda is at 90, 85% even, because he's so much bigger, he's just so much more complete, he's just so much freakier. It's basically 2 different categories, in my opinion. As far as Samson's conditioning at this point, that's my main focus right here. Because my worry about Samson was that he got too heavy and that he won't be able to get in shape in time. And I wanted to see him start prepping much earlier. He kind of started a little bit late. And I'm looking at his physique right now at 16 weeks out. And, it looks lean. I wouldn't say it doesn't look lean. I wouldn't say it looks fat or watery. But I just don't see the quality. Man, I don't see the details. I see that he's relatively lean, but I just don't see the sharpness. I don't see the hardness. No, not at all. And what I'm guessing happened here was that he got to that weight using a lot of insulin. A lot of insulin. Maybe you've tried this before. Maybe you know somebody who did, but when you do crazy amounts of insulin in the off season and you cut out insulin very, very fast, like as soon as you start prepping, you're going to lose a lot of size really fast, and you're going to lose all that fullness and hardness that you had in the off season. You're just going to get so much softer and flatter. You're going to get leaner as you drop the food and you start doing cardio, but the look you're going to have, especially in the beginning of that phase, is not going to be very good. If you start dropping insulin slowly and you're still doing cardio, increasing cardio, and you're dropping the food slowly and slowly dropping the insulin, then you maybe won't notice it as much. But maybe he just thought, maybe he started doing that and he realized he's running late and he decided to drop a lot more food really fast. And of course, he had to drop the insulin as well. And this was the result. Again, just speculation, just a wild guess, because that's kind of what the situation looks like to me. No details whatsoever, but still a relatively lean physique. And from what I'm hearing, he's still heavy, still over 340. So, if he stays big and heavy and gets lean enough, his physique is going to look amazing still. But at 16 weeks out, I would prefer to see a little bit more quality, a little bit more details. I'm not saying he's fat or watery. I think he is pretty lean, but something is missing here, guys. Maybe just the bad lighting, but I don't think so. I think he was harder and more detailed before at this body fat percent. Maybe he is just a little bit fat or watery. I'm not sure exactly. I'm just telling you what it looks like to me, but we'll see. We'll see how I think he lost some detail in the abs as well, which is unfortunate. His abs were pretty great. Maybe they're going to come back once he's actually really lean, shredded, and peaked well. Maybe he's just flat and a little bit fat and watery right now, and this is what it looks like this, right? I'm not sure. Again, I'm not there with Samson. I'm not following him closely. I'm not coaching him. I'm just looking at a gym video, but that's kind of what this looks like to me. So what do I think? Will Samson be able to be 100% or 90 or 85% of Mr. Olympia? Will he be on? I don't know, guys. I don't know. This video is not really promising. You know, it doesn't look like I can say based on this that he's going to be spot on. But anything is possible at this point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And that's just all I'm going to say. You know, he does look good, but I would expect him to look even better at this point. I don't know if you guys see the same things I'm seeing. If you don't, feel free to disagree with me. Or if you do, tell me about that below in the comment section, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you soon, guys. All the best and bye-bye.